Deep Threat Sports Network fans, welcome into another fantastic episode we have here tonight of some college football conversation. Tonight I have Bryant and myself. May get an appearance from Dave, not sure on that one. We haven't heard much from him this afternoon. No, he's busy, but we have no Nolan tonight. We will be back hopefully all together again on a review episode coming up after this week of games. Bryant, good to have you back, buddy. How you been, man?
Been fantastic. Been on a grind of weddings and going out of town and stuff. So it's good to be back to some sort of norm and back on the show. I'm excited to talk about this week's games. Not quite the slate of games we've been used to this season, but there's still a lot of games out there that are very interesting. I was telling a coworker today at work that there isn't really a bookmark game to watch this weekend, but there's so many games that have big implications as far as you're in and then you're out type things. So excited to talk about that in this show. Also, love the festive background.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I had to point that out. We got a little festive tonight. Change it up a little bit. Happy Halloween to all those who celebrate tomorrow night. Make sure you're safe. Have a good time. I'll have the kiddos out there. Looks like we have okay weather. Excited to get after it here tonight. Real quick, too, don't forget about our giveaway that we're doing on our new website that we have with our apparel. And make sure you're getting out there and checking it out. I got some good stuff on the way. I heard today from Chase himself that we've had a few people's packages go ahead and ship out. They should be getting there soon. But make sure that you are subscribing, commenting. And like we said before, we will take the best comments and we will get after it and we will get you guys some good gear, let you guys pick it out. And make sure you're doing that, man. We're going to put it on our buck and take care of you guys. One thing we do want to point out with that is somehow YouTube changed our show to kid-friendly. Are we kid-friendly? Yes, but when that happens, nobody's allowed to comment. I had a couple people reach out on Sunday's show that said we could not comment. Well, figured out why. I did a deep dive, did some research on it, and it was because somehow our show got changed to for kids, and we fixed that tonight. We already have 2 comments coming in here, so thanks for joining us, anybody that's with us tonight. Obviously, we know going on Thursdays we're going to compete with Thursday Night Football, but also Thursday Night Football in the NFL sucks. So make sure you're coming here and getting after it and getting some college football information before the grind of the weekend. We will drop our apparel line, the website. We will make sure we drop that in all of our links, all of our home pages, so you can find them all there. Cannot wait for that stuff to come in. I got a hell of a package coming in. Christmas came early for me, and I cannot wait to get that stuff in. So, Brian, anything you want to talk about in the college football world before we dive into some games? I know we've had some coaches sign some extensions, and that is getting pretty interesting because you start to ask yourself what coaches are actually going to be available for some of these jobs. Do we want to save that, or do we want to dive into that a little bit first?
I think we save it. I know we talked about this numerous times. We're going to do a deep dive show at some point on the coaching carousel. Other than that, there really isn't a whole lot of headlines out there as far as college football is concerned that isn't revolving around coaching movement. I don't feel like everything's about games and players and outcomes in college football playoff, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't really have anything to talk about much other than the coaching carousel, which we said we'll save for a later date.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I like saving it because we can really get into it in depth then once that time comes. All right, man. Well, if that's the case, let's flat get after it then. This weekend, the games Bryant kind of talked about, you don't feel like you just have that one standout game. There is one in particular that we're going to talk about, really 2 that I'm really, really interested in. Tonight I think we have 4 on our main game preview, and I think we have like 5 on our quickie segment. So we got a ton of coverage here for you. Let's not forget that this was supposed to be one of the biggest weekends of college football we've maybe ever seen preseason. And the way some of these dominoes have fell, we don't have that anymore. So they just kind of became interesting games. You know, one like in Ohio State, Penn State, we really lost a lot of luster on that one. So we're going to dive into them here first. And the first one that we're going to get after here tonight is Cincinnati at Utah. This game is Saturday at 9:15 p.m. on ESPN. Last we checked, Utah was -10, over under 56.5. Cincinnati 7-1, Utah 6-2. Brian, this is a hell of a matchup that we probably didn't think was going to be much of a matchup preseason, but this is one that has become a hell of a grind here. So tell me what you're seeing, what you're looking for in this football game.
Yeah, until the season panned out, this was probably for sure going to be a quickie at most, but now it's one of the best games to talk about this weekend. Obviously, college game days in there, so it's a very big game for both of these teams. Storyline in this game, honestly, is injuries for both sides. Cincy's starting running back for this game, and then Utah has a question mark at quarterback. Is it going to be Devin Dampier or is it going to be Burt Ficklin? I think Burt Ficklin showed out a little bit last week that he can do just what he needs to do to win football games for this team and step right in. So that's a plus. But we haven't really seen a whole lot from Cincinnati's backup running backs to see how they can perform. So that's the main headline, I think, in this game. So honestly, I think this game will be a lot closer than what the line shows here personally.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. But I think the biggest issue in this game will be, can Cincinnati's offensive line hold up? This is the best defensive line I think they played this season.
Not close.
Can they give Sorsby time to throw the football and do what he's done this year? You have in your notes here, I mean, he's having an under-the-radar season that nobody's really talking about whatsoever. And so if they can keep him upright and not get as many pressures on him, he's going to be able to pick apart this defense. And then also if they can hold up that front and run the ball as well, that's going to make it even better. So I think that's the biggest storyline, is who's going to play quarterback for Utah. I don't really have an issue with either. I think they're both going to be good, and I think they're going to score a bunch of points. And then on the Cincinnati side, can that offensive line hold up?
I think for me, I'm with you on that, but this afternoon I read that I'm pretty confident they took Devin Dampier off the injury report. I think. Okay. I'm pretty sure of that.
I think Burt Ficklin might still get some snaps.
So I wanted to talk about that. That's exactly where I was going with this. Is Burt Ficklin looked like such a good runner of the football at the quarterback position last week that it's almost impossible that he doesn't at least get some red zone touches. Like Devin Dampier is a far and away better passer than Burt Ficklin is of the football. But I think when you get down inside the 20 and you got to get you some points and you got to mix it up a little bit, I think that's where you see Bird come into the game. And I love the name Bird. That's awesome. Come into the game, get some snaps, make them kind of two-dimensional offense inside the red zone there and try to get some more points. Also, I'm with you. This is 100% the best defense that Cincinnati's faced, in my opinion. So I'm anxious to see how that offense responds and what Sorsby does look like against Utah at night at 9:15. Man, this is one of the toughest places, most underrated places to play in the country. And the going's going to get extremely tough late at night against a pretty damn good football team. And Utah feels like their back's against the wall. This is very much so an elimination game, in my opinion, for Utah. And I think they have to have this and kind of do it in a convincing fashion. But the disrespect of Cincinnati and Brendan Sorsby so far this season, it just continues on, man. We're watching him put up one of the best seasons in college football this year so far. And Cincinnati's doing great things at 7-1, something nobody thought was going to come with the Cincinnati football team. So the disrespect here is crazy, but it also doesn't shock me because Utah is so hard to play at, and they're such a well-coached team. And they do have some studs. I want to see if the Cincinnati defense can generate a pass rush, get home, speed things up a little bit for Dampier, knowing he's coming off an injury, and see how they respond. And this is, if Cincinnati wins this football game, Bryant, we're having a totally different conversation on the review episode about how Cincinnati is a real threat to go win the Big 12 and make a playoff push. But Cincinnati definitely only shines, in my opinion, on offense when they get it to third and short. That's when Sorsby's allowed to use his legs and get them the 3, 4, 5 yard pickup on third and short to convert and get the first down and keep the offense on the field.
Yeah, Cincinnati's going to have to move the chains, otherwise Utah's going to shut them down. And I think it's going to be a long night for them if that is the case. But yeah, I just looked it up. I mean, Brendan Sorsby, like we talked about, you just said here shortly that, I mean, he has almost 2,000 yards passing and 20 touchdowns and 1 interception. If Cincinnati wins this game, he's going to shoot up some Heisman boards.
Read his rushing stats now.
Let me pull them back up. What does he have for rushing?
It's going to blow your mind.
Give me 1 second.
It will truly blow your mind because you're talking about how he has almost 2,000 yards passing, 20 passing touchdowns.
He's got 425 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. Wow.
27 touchdowns.
I knew he was dynamic, but I didn't realize he had that many yards. So, yeah, I mean, I don't get it, but it's Cincinnati. They were kind of down on the pecking order in the Big 12 early.
People are talking about Pavia winning the Heisman with his stats. Unbelievable. So, also, the last thing I have on this before we move on, Cincinnati does struggle at forcing turnovers. And I think that's one thing that could get them in a football game like this, but it's also the one thing that if they do and they figure out, they can win this football game. They can truly win this football game. And they're going to have to force turnover or two to go win it here at Utah. I said there's 2 games I'm looking forward to. This is my number one right here. I think
Absolutely.
this game can have fireworks.
Absolutely.
The next game. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say there's some film out there. I mean, Utah has 2 losses, so there's some film out there and how they can be beat in a multitude of ways. So I'm sure Cincinnati's going to come out prepared to do that. It's just kind of a strength on strength type of situation with this game, and we'll see who's going to come out on top.
Absolutely. This next football game here is I'm ready to be done talking about both of these teams. I wish there was a way that both of these teams could lose. There's not. And we're going to cover this with unbiased opinions and do our absolute best to give you all the details that you need to know here. But this is Vanderbilt at Texas. This game's Saturday at 11 a.m. on ABC. Texas is a 2.5-point favorite, over under a 45.5. And the first thing I have to say about this game is people are completely shocked that Texas is a 2.5-point favorite. I, on the other hand, am actually not. And the reason being, Texas is at home. Texas's defense is very, very good. And Vanderbilt showed a lot of vulnerabilities against Mizzou's defense last week. Texas's defense is just as good, if not better. I think they're going to struggle running the football just as much. And it is truly going to come down to if Pavia can win the football game by airing it out. And also, I don't think Texas's secondary is bad. I think the one big question for me, I have not looked at this evening. I looked this morning, didn't see much on it. Is Arch Manning playing in this football game, Brian? Do you know?
I couldn't find anything either. All I was able to read was he got a concussion late in the game last week, and that's it. There's been zero update. Let me check and see if there's an SEC injury report and see what they say there.
Yeah, go for it. I'll go first on this then. It is very hush-hush, the Arch Manning situation, and that is obviously huge in this football game because people dog on Arch. We dogged on Arch, but one thing about Arch that I'm seeing is I'm actually seeing him grow a little bit throughout the season, and the true X factor for Texas's football team is that the offensive line can play somewhat competent football because they really, really struggle. And they also really rely heavily on the receivers to make plenty of yards after the catch. So that is where their true X factors lie. Now, with this football game, too, Vandy is able to generate a pass rush. I think they're going to be able to get home on this Texas offensive line. I think they're going to be able to get after the quarterback, whether it's Arch Manning or not. I do want to see Arch go, because I do think that Texas wins this football game if Arch is playing quarterback. I expect this game to be pretty low scoring. Both these offenses are pretty stale. I think both their better units are the defense. And Texas truly lives and dies by what their receivers do once they get the football in their hands. And Vandy truly lives and dies by 3rd and short and conversions with Pavia's legs.
Absolutely. We saw that in the game last week. And then we've seen it all season with them. I just looked up Arch Manning returned to practice today, but he's still in the concussion protocol. It's listed as questionable and iffy to play. So 50-50 shot, I'd say.
Sounds like he's going to play, in my opinion.
Yeah. Honestly, I could see him playing, but I wouldn't feel horrible if Caldwell played for them either. I think he's competent. I mean, he finished the game and won it for him there last weekend. So I would feel better to have Arch play, but it wouldn't be a horrible feeling to have Caldwell play. But anyway, in this game, man, on the Vandy side, I think their defense is actually better than advertised.
Yeah.
I don't think they're bad like we thought they would be coming into the season. Their defensive line is good. They're not great at covering the pass, but they can stick hip to hip and cover anybody as best as they possibly can. So I'm not really worried about Vandy's defense, but their offense, like you mentioned, they live and die by the big play. And if they aren't controlling the clock, and if they get to 3rd and long, they're not converting.
No.
Personally, I think Pavia is horrible at throwing the football. You saw that last week. He really cannot throw more than 15 yards with any sort of accuracy. And if he gets out of the pocket, he looks to run or just dump it off. So they're going to have to stay ahead of the chains, and he's going to have to get better at throwing the ball in this game if they want to win. And I don't see how you adjust that quickly in 1 week. But on the Texas side, this game is a battle of strengths. Again, defenses are the best side of both of these teams. Who's going to play better on offense? I think Texas has the better offensive players, but can they put it together? And then the question mark at quarterback is looming. I agree with what you said to start this off. I think whoever wins this game, the team that lost, we're not talking about them in any sort of playoff scenario or postseason scenario whatsoever. So this is an elimination game from that standpoint. And I'm right there with you. I think I'm ready to stop talking about one of these teams and just move on. Vandy can for sure win this game. They've done it all year. This game is going to be close. It's going to be low scoring. Whoever controls the clock and the ball is going to win this game.
Without a doubt, man. And to your point, there's a real scenario if Texas wins this football game that they are truly going to find their way into the playoffs. Unless Texas A&M can take care of them, and I think they will, that's down the road, and I hope that does happen. But also, too, if I'm Vanderbilt and I'm Clark Lee and I'm going and scheduling this offense going into this football game, I am running Pavia, like designed running Pavia probably 15, 16 times in this football game.
Yeah.
Like this is their last real big game for a while, and I'm letting him know, like, hey, man, you've got to go out there and win this football game with your legs. You're going to have to do it, and if we get this one, we're in a really good spot, and you can kind of take a breather moving forward a little bit. But it is resting on Pavia's shoulders again in this football game. I truly, outside of Eli Stowers, I truly don't think that Vanderbilt has true difference makers on their offense. They have a pretty good offensive line though, and their blocking schemes are really well coached. So I think that's where they are good. But outside of that, man, it is like hero ball and explosive player bust. We saw in that Mizzou game, they take an 80, 85-yard rushing touchdown to the house. And man, outside of that, it was rock you to sleep offense. It was horrible. And it like I said, very much so hero ball or bust for Vanderbilt's offense.
I'm right there with you. I don't think this Vandy offensive line is going to be able to hold up all game against this defensive front from Texas whatsoever. They didn't against Missouri, and Texas's defensive line, I think, is just as good, if not better. So Vandy's going to have to score early and probably often to kind of set the tone. Otherwise, I think it's going to be a low-scoring and long game for them with Texas doing what they want.
Oh, and that stadium's going to be rocking, man. The first home game in a while, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
The next game that we're going to talk about here is my second most excited football game that I'm going to watch this weekend, actually. And it's a G5 banger right here with Navy at North Texas. This game's Saturday at 11 a.m. on ESPN2. North Texas minus 6.5, over under 64.5. 7-0 for Navy, 7-1 for North Texas. And both these teams are really trying to make a push to make the playoffs. And both these teams can make the playoffs, but they got to take care of this football game. I'm here to tell you right now that Drew Mestemaker is probably fixing to be the most sought-after quarterback in the G5 ranks for next season. So this is a proven game for him again.
Absolutely. He's been lighting it up all season. If you look at his excuse me, if you look at his stats, they're eye-popping. I mean, this team is just putting up numbers like crazy through the air. But Navy's doing the same thing, just on the run. It's the Navy teams we're used to. They run the hell out of the football. They pound it all game long, and they don't run away from it. So this is similar to what I mentioned earlier in the Cincinnati-Utah game. This is a battle of strengths on offense. Is North Texas's passing game going to prevail, or is Navy's running game going to prevail? Now they are going against the weaknesses of the other defense. North Texas' defense is not the best for stopping the run, and Navy's defense is not the best at stopping the pass. So I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. There's a reason the over-under is at 64.5.
Yes.
Do think personally North Texas is probably the better team. Navy is 7-0, but they haven't played the schedule that North Texas has. And the only loss North Texas has is USF, and they played them very close. So I'm excited to see this football game too. I'm right with you there on the Drew Mestemaker train. That guy is very, very good. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the country, I think, personally.
Absolutely. And to your point, to elaborate on that a little bit more, North Texas's defense is really bad against the run.
Yes.
And we all know that's Navy's. That's their MO. It's what they do. That is what they're there to do in that football game. Navy averages 318 rushing yards per game. That's the number one in the country. 318 is staggering numbers on the ground. With that being said, that North Texas defense gives up 213 rushing yards per game, giving up 4.8 yards per carry. So if North Texas can somewhat be competent on their defense to limit the run and make Navy throw the ball, the Navy's in real trouble. Now, I think Navy's still going to have their success no matter if you key in it or not. But with that being said, North Texas is playing a team that they know is not going to beat you airing the football out. They're not blowing you up for a deep shot for 40 yards. So I think you're going to see North Texas get in, crowd the box, and put 8 in there and truly just try to eliminate the run. North Texas does have the better athletes by far and away, in my opinion, Bryant. And I think North Texas has the chance to run away with this football game. Ron comes in here and says that kid will hit the lottery in the portal, and he was a punter in high school. I mean, 100%, dude. he is going to get paid.
Oh yeah, he's going to be number one, letter A on the portal as far as quarterback's concerned come January, February, whenever that thing opens up.
Yeah, and Ron's referring to Mestamaker, who we referred to early on in the preview of this football game. I do like what you said too. Navy is 7-0, pretty soft schedule getting to that point. And the only reason I want to see Navy win, there's multiple reasons, but the big reason is every year we talk about this when Navy's good. What does the playoff committee do when they're putting together the playoff rankings and Navy still has one football game left?
Yeah,
I want to see them blow up in their face one time. That's the only reason I want to see this.
We talked about that earlier when we did our Pick'em show back in August. I know for sure I did, and I think Nolan picked Navy too to be the Group of 5 team. And here we are. They're at least in the passenger seat, if not in the driver's seat, with North Texas and a few other schools to get that slot. And that'd be such riveting news to see what would happen if Navy still has one more game to play and they're already getting ready to pick the CFP.
They'd be
That's
shitting.
Going to be weird.
The committee would be shitting their pants. They never thought this was going to happen. The last big game that we have for you guys it's a classic. It's a good one. It's Oklahoma at Tennessee, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on ABC. Tennessee minus 3.5, over under 56.5. Oklahoma 6-2, but they're reeling pretty bad. Tennessee 6-2 as well. This has the chance to be the best game of the weekend. Mm-hmm. And I think what it really comes down to is John Mateer. I know it sounds like a cop-out and easy answer, but it's the truth, man. It comes down to what you get from John Mateer. What are you looking for here, Bryant?
Yeah, on the Oklahoma side, you hit the nail on the head. Mateer doesn't look the same since he's came back from that hand injury. Just seems a little lost, and maybe he's not completely healthy. I don't know, but it surely solely sits on him. Yeah, they found a bit of a run game last week against Ole Miss, but Ole Miss kind of struggled to stop the run all season for a multitude of reasons. So I think that was part of it. But Oklahoma's going to have to try to get that going again to take some pressure off Mateer and give him some time with some play action passes and be able to throw the ball without being under pressure and have to get out of the pocket. I think that's the biggest issue with them on that side of the ball because we know their defense is going to be good. They're one of the better defenses in the SEC for sure. So, the winner of this game, the loser of this game, honestly, is their playoff hopes are gone.
Over.
I think both of these teams still have a little bit of a slim chance, somewhat, but they both need this game. On the Tennessee side, they're kind of the opposite of Oklahoma. They're kind of humming on all cylinders on offense, but they can't stop a nosebleed on defense whatsoever. No. This is the classic Heupel team. They're going to try to outscore you every single week, and this team can do it. Can it continue? Because this is one of the better defenses I think they've seen this season. So, and their 2 losses were against Georgia and Alabama, and I think Oklahoma's defense is just as good, if not slightly better than both of those teams. So,
better for sure.
Can Aguilar continue what he's done? They really don't have much of a run game, even though they just throw it all over the field, and Brazel and those receivers just run away with it. They're going to have to continue that in this game, and Aguilar's going to have to take care of the ball for them to win this football game. But both teams need this game for sure. I'm giving the edge to Tennessee because they're at home, but this is a very evenly matched up game.
I think with me that what I look for in this game from Oklahoma is John Mateer truly can play that hero-style football in this game because this Tennessee defense is very vulnerable and gives up 30 points per game. Mm-hmm. That is not good, and that plays right into John Mateer's hand. That plays right into what they designed their offense to do. I still don't think they have a run game. Talked about that on the review show from last week because Ole Miss's defense, like you said, is so damn bad against the run. I still am not a believer that they can run the football. I'm not a believer that either one of these teams can run the football.
No.
So it is going to be truly an aired out attack and see what happens. And I think Tennessee is better at it. I think they have better playmakers at receiver. Now, Satanga for Oklahoma is really, really good, and he has track-level speed. So if he does get out there and get past your defense, the secondary, and get behind him, he's going to score. And Mateer will find him because Mateer can chuck it. One thing about you see with Joey Aguilar for Tennessee, he is all over the place as a quarterback in the sense of, and you see this a lot, but it is really staggering with him in the sense where under pressure, the guy is atrocious. If you keep the pocket clean for him, he is one of the better quarterbacks in the country with a clean pocket. He's accurate. He's going to make good throws. He's going to find his guys. and it plays right into what Heupel wants. They are explosive, 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 explosive. They're not methodical down the field team. They are bust you for a 20-yard play, a 45-yard play, and in the end zone. That is what they try to do with this offense. There's a reason for the number 4 overall yards per game offense at 510 yards per game. There is a reason for that. With all that being said, Oklahoma's defense is the best defense they faced all season. In my opinion, Brian, it is better than Alabama. It is better than Georgia, and I don't think it's necessarily close, especially the pass rush. So I am curious to see if you just see Oklahoma blitz the shit out of him all game long, and him is Joey Aguilar, get him off his mark, and if that's the case, they can win this football game. It is absolutely crazy. Ron comes in here. Do you guys ever hear the outcome from his alleged gambling? No. And I think it was either me and Bryant or me and Nolan. I don't remember if we were all 3 or 4 with Dave on that show as well. But we kind of joked about that when it came up. This is going to dissipate. This is going to dissipate like a fart in the wind, man. It is going to go away. Exactly that happened. He said
the only thing we heard, he said it was a fake. Like I was being BS in the comment on my payment. It was it was a joke.
I was joking with the buddy, although the games and times lined up, but I was just joking with the friend.
Yeah.
It's hard to prove it otherwise.
That will never be talked again.
Gone. It is over. And I know Ron is curious about that because what was so funny is I was actually talking to Ron the night that happened on the phone, and I said, holy hell, John Mateer just got maybe in trouble for alleged gambling, and Ron immediately went in at that moment and bet Oklahoma's win total under of like 8.5. and so he is a hardcore get John Mateer off the field. Yeah, he comes in, true story. That was extremely funny when all that took place.
It's still alive.
He said lost. I don't think it's if it's 8.5. There's some chicken on that bone that could still hit. I think they are very, very much so an 8-4. Oh, it's 6.5. Done. No. You're cooked. Sorry, you're cooked. Dude.
Sorry, Ron. That's one. Chalk that up. Mail it in.
Yeah, 6.5.
That money's going to the bucket. The bookie.
Yeah, that's gone, my man. We'll try to get that back elsewhere. And what you should do.
We got some picks here coming up on the end of the show.
Well, hey,
let's sit right there.
Ron's a gambling man. We're gambling men. What you do, Ron, is you hedge out of that, and whatever you bet on that, you lay on Tennessee money line or Tennessee minus 3.5 and get your money back on it right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident in that. So that is it for our main game. We told you guys the slate kind of weakened up. It's not a weaker slate. I hate saying it. Make sure you're still getting your eyes on it. There's a lot of playoff implications in this. Hey, look, here he comes in like that. Let's go. I knew you were a gambler. I knew I was speaking your language. The first game that we have here tonight on the Quickie segment is indeed Bryant's. This is, dude, we would have thought this game right here coming into the season
this was the marquee game.
Yeah, marquee matchup, maybe for all the marbles, and now it's just kind of like, does Florida rally? Do they play better without Napier? How does Lagway look? They're going to free him up. We'll see what happens. Georgia at Florida, Saturday at 2:30 p.m. on ABC. Georgia, minus 7.5. Got all life in front of them, over under 50.5. Georgia trying to get to 7-1. Florida just trying to get to 4-4 and keep some bowling hopes alive. Bryant, what do you have down for us here?
Colin, is this game in Jacksonville like it usually is?
Yeah, what do they call this? The Tea Party. Is it Tea Party? Called the Tea Party?
Yeah, I think it's in Jacksonville. Let me look real quick because that's.
They did go. Okay, it's neutral still. I didn't think it was anymore.
Everbank Stadium. Yeah, it's in the Jaguar Stadium, like I thought it was.
Okay, so it's still neutral. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So this is actually a pretty big rivalry. It kind of flies under the radar, but these teams do not like each other. Obviously, I think Georgia's the much better team. They need to stay focused and control this game. Florida's going to throw the book at them. I feel like they're going to pull all sorts of stuff. I think that we have not seen all season, and Lagway is going to be loosened up and he's going to be able to do whatever he wants, which leads me to my next point. I think he's going to turn the ball over a lot. I think Georgia's defense is going to step up in this game and create some turnovers, and they're going to run away with this. But Florida's going to do their damnedest to try to lean on their defense, get the run game going, and try to find something in the pass game as well. I just don't see it. I think Georgia's going to be able to score the ball. I think Florida's defense is just plumb tired after all the beatdowns that they've had this season, trying to keep this team in the game and control the game as best they could. I think it shows in this game, and Georgia's going to win big.
Hey, I'm was kind of chuckling over here because Ron came in with the world's largest cocktail party. I think I might have called it a tea party, but the way Florida's playing, this is like a tea party, dude. This became a tea party for Florida this season, and Georgia's the only one going to be sipping cocktails for this one because I'm with Ron here, Georgia large, and you may see this pop up here in a little bit again. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Yeah, this game's going to start out close, I think. Georgia's going to have to weather a storm of new plays they haven't seen, but they're going to turn the ball over, or Florida's going to turn the ball over like they've done all season, and Georgia's going to take advantage of that.
Florida's going to have a little bit of juice at the beginning, right? No Napier. They're going to try to bounce back and respond, but it's only going to, in my opinion here, you see this a lot, it's only truly going to take one punch in the mouth, a true punch in the mouth from Georgia, for Florida just to roll over and be like, okay, well, we're out. We're actually just not good. But Florida does have playmakers. They do have true players, especially on that defense. But like you said, man, they're on life support. There ain't no doubt about that. The next one that we have here is, Brian, I'm gonna skip yours, just give you a breather for a second, go to mine real quick so we kind of alternate here. I'm going to go to Penn State at Ohio State. Talk about another one that was supposed to be just an absolute banger marquee matchup. Do not miss it. And very, very similar to what we just talked about with the Georgia-Florida game. One of these teams is 3-4. One of these teams is 7-0. A lot of life in front of them. This game's at 11 o'clock on Fox. Ohio State minus 20.5 with an over-under of 44.5. It is crazy how this game has just died. It is just completely fell off the table. It is not really talked about. No Drew Aller, no James Franklin. One team's world beaters. The other team has completely lost all championship aspirations and is truly just trying to find a bowl at this point. They're trying to find a coach. It appears to me that there's a lot of coaches out there that don't think this job is as appealing as what Penn State thought it was. With that all being said, does this cause Ohio State to not get up for this game? Does this cause Ohio State to come in here sleepwalking a little bit? Because there's a reason the over-under is 44.5. Because I have no doubts in my mind that Penn State's defense still can get after it. They still can make things tough. And Jim Knowles would love to spoil his old team in Ohio State. So there's a world, it's a very, very far off in another galaxy world where Penn State hangs around in this football game for a long time. But I just can't imagine that this Ohio State defense that is just as good as Penn State's, if not better, actually they are better, completely holds Penn State to like under 7 points and just absolutely puts their foot on their throat and kicks the ever-loving shit out of them and just beats Penn State down so bad that they may not even they might even go bowling this season after this one. Like, I truly think Ohio State makes a statement again in this football game, and Julian Sain builds on this Heisman campaign that he's on right now.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State's had similar games this season with Minnesota and Wisconsin, etc. That, they're the way better team. They know that they're probably going to walk away with it. And they came out and beat the crap out of them. So I don't see them sleepwalking in this game whatsoever. I think they're going to come out and absolutely beat them down, and it's not even going to be close.
They have that like where they play with their food for like 12 minutes. And they're just like, we let you believe for just a minute, and now we're going to.
If this game's 21-0, it's over.
Oh yeah, and Ohio State played the better team every single day in practice than what they're going to play right here, and it's not close.
Yeah, exactly.
The next game on the quickie segment we have here, I am extremely excited for this football game. Actually, like I think this is one that we maybe could have even slid into the main game a little bit because I'm pumped up for this one. USC at Nebraska, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. on NBC. USC minus 6.5, over under 58.5. Bryant, give us your quickie.
Yeah, this is a big game for each team to stay in the hunt. I mean, they're both still technically in the hunt to get a spot in the Big Ten championship game. Obviously, the loser of this game is out, so that's a big stepping point in this game that's going to be talked about throughout. On the Nebraska side, they really need to get both sides of their offense going. They haven't been able to run the ball very well, and honestly, they haven't been able to pass the ball very well either in recent games. They're sub 200 yards passing in 3 of their last 4 games. We're going to have to turn that around in this game. But this might be the best defense they've played. USC's defensive line is very good. if USC can disrupt the Nebraska backfield, I think they win this game. On the USC offensive side of the ball, we've seen what Maeva and all those receivers have been able to do. But I think if they're able to establish the run like they have been in the past few weeks and continue that, they're going to be able to win this game. I think it'll be close. The games up there in Lincoln are always relatively close, especially this season, with how Nebraska has been playing on the defensive side of the ball. But USC, I think, is the better team, and I think it's going to show out in this game.
USC is by far, in a way, not close better on the offensive line and defensive line.
Yep.
Nebraska's horrible at both. And we have not seen Raiola take that step that we thought he was going to take. Like, we were very confident that Nebraska could make a push. And, Brian, I think we are wrong at this point about that. Like, they're going to be okay. They're obviously 7-8 wins. But I just don't think they're what we thought they were going to be. Like, they had some good talent come in, and they're just not using it. Like, they're not playing good football.
Yeah, they're just a middle-of-the-road team, honestly. That's the only really way to put it, I think.
Average. They are a very damn average football team. This next one here I'm talking about here, Texas Tech at Kansas State, Saturday, 2:30 p.m. on Fox. Texas Tech minus 7.5. Line just moved to 7, actually. Over under 52.5. Kansas State, 4-4. Texas Tech, 7-1. I want to talk about one thing. We talked about this earlier on in the season. We have got to get rid of the games over there, Dublin, Ireland, right? That's where, Ireland, right? We got to get rid of those games, man, because if anybody watches our Foul 'em Hard podcast that Garrett and I do throughout the college basketball season knows that I could not let go of my love for Baylor basketball last season. I took a beating on it because I wouldn't get off of them. Kansas State is my team in football for some reason that I cannot get off of because I think Kansas State is so much better than 4-4. It is a true statistic. Like, look at Florida State last year. You go lose a game over in Ireland, and your season just completely unravels. Kansas State has gotten this thing back on rails the last 2 weeks against TCU. Kicked the shit out of them. Kansas kicked the shit out of them. I'm still
beat Baylor.
Do what?
They only lost to Baylor by 1 in the shootout,
and they should have won. They gave that one away.
Yep.
They gave the Arizona game away. They gave the Army. Yeah, they gave the Army game away. Yeah. Like, they literally just gave games away. They cannot seal the deal. If I'm Texas Tech, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous in this football game. I don't think Texas Tech has been playing their best football. I know they beat the shit out of Oklahoma State 42-0, but good Lord.
Everybody's doing that.
SEMO could go beat Oklahoma State. So, like, I disregard that football game. Erase that one from memory. Right before that, they lost to Arizona State. I also know they've had some injury at quarterback. I know Will Hammond, I think he might be done for the season. Don't quote me on that, but I think he's out for the season, who is the backup at Texas Tech. And I know they look to get Baron Morton back and start getting the thing clicking again. And I do think Texas Tech's a damn good football team. But I'm not overlooking this game if I'm Texas Tech. I'm not overlooking this Kansas State defense. They have seemed to settle in. They held a pretty good Kansas offense at 17 points. So, should be a good football game. I think 7.5 is a little too friendly. In my opinion, I think it's a lot friendly. And I will have my eyes on this football game. Kansas State takes care of the football. And if they get a lead, good Lord, don't give another one away. And you can find a way to win this football game and ruin Texas Tech's playoff aspirations.
Yeah, Manhattan is not an easy place to play. I don't think. Yeah. It's tough, especially for a Big 12 team or a Big 12 game. And personally, they're playing better football over the last couple of weeks. So this is not an easy game that Texas Tech can go in and just think they can play C-plus football and win this game, because they're going to have to play better than that for sure.
If I'm a Texas Tech fan, I'm a little scared. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah,
Brian, I think this was supposed to be Nolan or Days, whoever we had tonight, but they are not here. So you want this one?
We can kind of bounce back and forth. I didn't put any notes down for this, but I did research it a little bit.
Okay. I'm good with that.
This is going to be a closer game than people would think on paper. Virginia is 7-1, but man, they've had some nail-biter wins all over their schedule. They could easily be 3-5 if they have all these tight games come their way. Personally, I don't think Virginia does anything at all very good, but they're above average at almost, like, they're not excellent at anything, but they're good at everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
they're not gonna
mentally sound.
they're fundamentally sound. That's exactly the way to say it. They're not going to shoot themselves in the foot, but they're not going to go out and absolutely blow you out. So this game is going to be close. Cal has played better football than I think we thought they would coming into the season with how many people they lost. So their freshman quarterback has electrified this team and got them going. So this is going to be a close game. Virginia's got to travel all the way to California. I know that's not really a story that people like to talk about, but I think it's
a real thing.
Something to talk about with these Big Ten teams getting their feet wet in that. So look for that too. This is going to be a tight game. Virginia is the better team, but they just play with their food and keep playing with it until like late in the fourth quarter in every game.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head in the sense that Virginia is very fundamentally sound. And you're also right again about how they don't do anything spectacular. Like Chandler Morris is a good quarterback for them. Yeah, he can air it out, and I trust him slinging the rock because that's what he is known for. He's a gunslinger. But every once in a while, he'll turn the rock over, make a dumb throw, make a dumb play. And anytime I talk about Cal, I've kind of been riding Cal's coattails a little bit this season. I think they're better than what most people think. They're 5-3. This is a good ACC matchup, man. And like you said, Virginia going all the way out, that's a hell of a road trip. But Virginia is truly trying to make a playoff push, make an ACC championship game. And there's a world where it can happen. But anytime I talk about Cal, I have to say it. I'm a believer in Jaron Kiawe Sagapulatele. Anytime you have a name like Sagapulatele, I'm going to say it, dude. I'm a believer in you, and I think you make throws that most freshman quarterbacks, most sophomore quarterbacks, most junior quarterbacks, and most senior quarterbacks can't make. I've seen Jaron Kiawe Sagapulatele make more throws that are impressive than I ever watched Drew Aller at Penn State make, that he was supposed to go make. I am a believer in this Cal football team. With that being said, it's a tough task. Virginia is not good enough to ever overlook an opponent. They're not good enough to ever come in and try to sleepwalk into a win. They're not that good. So they're not going to come into this game light. They're going to take it serious. And I think what helps them is this game's at 2:45 p.m. on ESPN2 Central Time. California time, I think that is what?
45.
45?
Yeah.
So in Eastern time, that would be what, 3:45? So it is quite the time zone change for them, but it's not like it's an 11 o'clock game out there on Cal time. It's not a 10 o'clock game Cal time or whatever that is. They kind of caught the middle of the day so they can try to get themselves right and get ready for this football game. This is going to be an exciting one, man. This is going to be one that people don't think they need to put their eyes on, but I'm telling you, it's going to be a good football game. There's a reason we're talking about it.
Yes.
And I'm a big believer in JKS, baby. Give me all JKS.
Virginia's more than alive in the ACC hunt right now, so they cannot absolutely zero chance to lose this game and then have a shot to get anywhere. So they cannot lose this football game. And I think you're right. They're not going to come in. They're not good enough to overlook anybody, and this is no exception.
Absolutely. Real quick, before we move on, does JKS play football at Cal next year?
No.
There's no way, right? He's going to get a bag.
He honestly might go back to Oregon where he was to start the season. Well, he was signed and then unsigned and then went to Cal.
I like that. That's a great take. Why wouldn't they? Dude's incredible. Okay. You know what time it is? All that being said, it is time for the Book It segment. And we talked last week about how we're not going to change anything up. And you know what's crazy, Brian? It's just you and me again, man. We're the money makers. Anytime we get Nolan and Dave in here on a Book It segment, it gets a little hairy. We started last week like 1-4. Kind of shaped it up and ended the week at 6-6. And things ended up going well. So we got to get the bad juju with them two out the Book It segment. And next week, if they're here on the Book It segment in this episode, we're going to just completely eliminate them from the camera on this segment and just let it be.
I agree.
Things work when we do this right here. We don't play the money sound no more because it's been working since we haven't. We're superstitious, and we're going to keep rolling. We are 50-53 on the season.
We also cannot let Ron comment about any of our picks.
Yeah, that's the thing. Ron was on our show too. We lost big that week. Ron said we're going to have a great week. We had a guest appearance from Ron on our show, and we took on a lot of water. Like we were trying to pail water out of our boat, and there was a hole in the bottom of the bucket as well. So, Ron, here we go. I like it. Thanks for the comment. Glad you're here. But let's keep it a little quiet in the comments section in this segment, buddy, and you just enjoy the ride here. And you know what we say. Shop the books, buy the hooks, baby.
Let's get it.
It's showtime. We are 50-53, and we are about to make some cash this weekend. Bryant, go ahead and go first. We'll alternate like we do when we make this money.
First game, we're in the American Conference. We got Memphis down in Texas playing Rice. Our first pick is Memphis minus 13 on the road. I think they were the much better football team. We'll see if they can do it in this game, but we believe in them. Memphis minus 13, number one, book it.
Hey, stay right there in that football game. Memphis at Rice. We're going to double dip here. Memphis team total over 30.5. Book it. They run this shit up. They know they just had a big win against USF. They're trying to make a playoff push as well. Got to make a statement. Got to appeal to the committee. Got to do all things well. Memphis team total over 30.5. Book it.
Our next one is Navy at North Texas. We talked about this a little bit in our main game preview earlier on in the show. North Texas, I think they're the much better offense. If they can somehow stop Navy's run a little bit, I think they run away with this game. Love this pick. North Texas minus 6 at home against the Navy midshipmen.
Book that shit, baby. New Mexico at UNLV. UNLV is kind of alive a little bit, man. They got a little bit of mojo going. They've been playing some good football. I think they are the much better team than New Mexico. I think UNLV at home here can get the job done. Give us UNLV minus 3. Book it.
Next one, we got Indiana and Maryland in the Big Ten, over 50 points. We're going to need a lot of points from Indiana, maybe a few from Maryland. Indiana is an electric football team. We've seen it all season. I think they're going to light up Maryland. Need Maryland to score 10 to 14 points. And this game hits easily on the over. Indiana, Maryland, over 50. Book it.
I was going to verbatim say what you just said. If Maryland can give us 10 to 14 points, Indiana doesn't give a shit who they're playing. Kurt Cignetti doesn't care who's on the other sideline. He wouldn't care if it was his brother, mom. I don't even know if he has any of those. But he doesn't care if it's a family member. He is there to beat that ass. Love this play of over 50 there. Georgia at Florida. I called it a tea party. Some might get mad about that. It might be a cocktail party. But when one team is that much better than the other one, in my opinion, I think it's a tea party for one of these teams. Georgia, minus 6. Book it.
Hey, we talked about this next one in the quickie segment. I'm kind of right there still with Colin. I would believe in K-State to begin the season, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The offense is kind of solidified recent weeks. They're playing the better football right now. Yeah, Texas Tech is the better team, but this game is going to be close. We got Kansas State plus 8 in the Little Apple in Kansas, Manhattan. Book it, K-State plus 8.
What better to do when you're a football team and you're just having an average season at 4-4 below expectations than to get on a big stage and play spoiler, Brian? This is what Kansas State does. They like to spoil good things for opposing teams, and they're going to do it there, baby. Like that play. The next one that we have for you here, don't watch it. It's going to be extremely boring. With that being said, we need it to be extremely boring. We need a Michigan State, Minnesota, first half, under 22.5. Book it.
Absolutely. That's going to be a snooze fest, and we need to keep it being a snooze fest. Our next one, we got Western Kentucky. We're riding these boys again. New Mexico State coming to town. We got Western Kentucky, minus 8. The Hilltoppers are the much better football team. I think they're going to roll the Aggies from New Mexico. Western Kentucky, minus 8. Book it.
Hey, I'm out here. I'm riding the pony on Western Kentucky, baby. They're our money makers. We ride them every week. They are a wagon for us. I don't even know what the record is against the spread anymore. It may not be good, but I feel like we pick them every week, so we're going to ride them again, baby. Next one we have for you here is Virginia at Cal. Talked about this one too. I'm going to say it again. All you need to know, Jaron Kiawe, Sagapulatele, Cal, plus 5. Book it.
Next one, back to the Big Ten. Purdue, Michigan, first half under 27.5. I love this pick. Michigan is a way better football team, but they don't score a ton of points. They just kind of beat you down and play the defensive side of the ball. We're going to see that in this game. First half under 27.5. Book it.
I'm going to make a really dumb, bold take right here on that under 27.5 in the first half. That game may not score 27.5 points in the game.
Possible. It's possible.
I was baffled, and which means that this game is going to be like 35-30 at the end of the first half.
100%.
I just that one seems too free. It seems like the freest one of the weekend, which means it's not going to hit. Fade that one. Georgia Tech at NC State. NC State, man, once again, it's a team that can play spoiler. It's a coach that loves to play spoiler, and Dave Doeren. This is a good football team at times. At times. Mm-hmm. Georgia Tech also at times looks to lose a football game. Should have lost one earlier on in the season. Came down to the wire. I like NC State plus 6 here. Bryant and I are telling you to book that shit. We like this one. Give us NC State at home.
Our last one, we're sticking with our lucky number 13 that seems to have been working for us in recent weeks on the Book It segment. Talked about this a little bit in the main game. We got Cincinnati plus 11 on the road against Utah. Think Brendan Sorsby can continue his great play, and the question marks that Utah has at offense will hinder them, on the quarterback position will handle them. So we're riding Cincinnati plus 11 for our last pick this week. I'm excited about this game, and I think we're on the right side of it. So Cincinnati plus 11, book it.
Hey, like we say, shop the books, buy the hooks, because I will tell you this right now. I feel really good about Cincinnati if you can get that number over 10. I love the play at 11. I love it at 10.5. I want it over 10 just in case. I feel like Cincinnati has a chance to really win it. But I'm telling you from a betting standpoint, the number is really good at plus 11. So shop around if you can get that plus 11 mark. And it's going quick. That game's kind of been up and down a little bit. It's kind of been 13. It's been 9. It's all over the place. So shop that thing. Get you one at 11 and do your homework like we always tell you, man. Also, with that being said, get you one of our badass hoodies that are coming in that say shop the books and buy the hooks on the back. I'm going to wear that thing until it has holes in it. I'm going to wash the font right off that hoodie. I cannot wait to get my hands on those.
Don't wash it.
You're right.
You just don't wash it.
You are right.
You wear it
and
you never wash it. Why are you washing it?
Honestly, I'm an idiot. That's the best thing you've ever said. Here's the thing. When that hoodie comes in, you guys are going to know it because I'm wearing it the very next episode. And if we win money with that hoodie, I promise you I'll wear that hoodie every episode until we lose money on it. So if that means I got to wear it for the next 6 seasons, and I hope that's what we have to do, I will wear it. I promise you I will wear it and I will not wash it. I'll book it. Book that. Book that right now.
Yeah. Book it. Over under 4.5 seasons, Colin's going to have the book by the hooks. Shop the books and buy the hooks hoodie on.
Fade that under 4.5 seasons of not losing $1 for a week. Fade it. All right, man. That's our plays for you this week. 13 plays for you, like Brian said. We played 12 last week, went 6-6. The weeks before we played 13, went 7-6. Let's ramp it back up and go ahead and get that 13 mark in there. It seems to work. Hey, Brian's more superstitious than me because he caught that.
Let's get like a 9-4 this week. What do you think?
We're so due, man. We talk about this every week. We're going to get a little casual here, but we talk about this every week. I hate sounding repetitive, and I hate sounding like I'm bitching. But dude, the amount of bad beats that I can't fathom. I can't wrap my head around how some of these beats have happened to us.
Absolutely. It's been horrendously bad. There's probably about 10 I can think of on the top of my head where it's just like shock that we did not get that win.
Dude, the pushes, like some of the pushes.
Not even the pushes. It's like the baloney, just off the rails shit that happened in some of these games, like the Oregon one we had against Northwestern earlier on in the season. Something like that is just unbelievable.
It out. I mean, just there is actually truly not a worse beat that you can have when you bet college football than when you need a team to like kick a field goal to cover like the 1 point that you need, and you just watch them knee it out from like 2:30 on. It is talk about wanting to rip TVs off the wall, and it happens way too often. But you're right. We're gonna you know what? I'm not gonna get greedy. I'm not gonna get greedy. No. I'm okay with 7-6, Brian.
Yeah.
If we keep the 7-6 train up, we're getting back above our head above water for the end of the season. So we're not gonna get greedy.
I love it.
With all that being said, that is a wrap for us here tonight. Hope you like the festive background. All of you that celebrate Halloween, have fun, have safe trick-or-treating tomorrow night. If you have kids, make them enjoy it. They only get so many of those. And have a good time with that. That's what we will be doing for sure. So you can't see our background like usual, like we said, because it is festive. So you can follow us on X at DT_sports_. Facebook, Deep Threat Sports Network. Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Deep Threat Sports. Check out the merch link. It's going to be all over the place for you guys. We are going to extend the giveaway by a week due to the error that somehow happened on our pages and made them kid-friendly. Bring your kids to our page, but then you guys can't comment. So what we need from you guys is a like, a subscribe, and a comment. It's not that hard. It is not that hard. Tell us how good looking we are. Tell us how ugly we are. Tell us that you love listening to us. Something. Get your name in the hat. We are going to pay for you an item. We don't care what it is. We're going to let you pick. It is free. Don't skip out on free. Don't be a dumbass and skip out on free. Hey, Until next time, Bryant, let's have a good time. Let's have a good weekend here watching college football. That's Bryant. I'm Colin. Everybody, peace.